welcome back. Hello again. It is hot, and the windows are closed. I am starting to boil, and the time limit is on. We return to Saturday Ironheart Merchant Company, episode 20, The Golden Grind, part 2. Last time we left off, the party spent a good amount of time shopping about in town, checking out some things, as well as mostly coming off of their downtime. As the party had managed to turn in the last bit of their quest. What was the one was last time? I know you guys finished something, because that was James also got obsessed with a bucket.
Oh, I get obsessed with a bucket because of the bone drinkers and
Yeah, that's
Plan
fair.
B.
That's fair. What was it? Was it?
And it's not a heavy obsession, I just need to find
was I,
more of them.
Was I thinking
There are
back?
no more.
Anyways,
We were going to get a quest, I believe.
That's
and then
right.
We
We were going to get a quest, but we also picked
And
up
then-
Melvin, which was completion of something.
and
yeah,
then
that's
the big
right.
man to us, some big dude, and said, "Hey, you want a mission?"
That's right. Yeah, now I remember where we were. Okay. So last time we left off with the party coming off their about 8 hours of downtime, if I remember right. 24 hours of downtime, with Alar spending most of it amongst the people, we'll put it as. James working by himself, Rollerman training. The party would end up coming together to head into town, meeting and running into Melvin as they were told this kobold would be their new hireling from their previous partner, Zell's. Though unbeknownst to them, the actual individual that was Melvin was showing more of an illusion than his actual appearance, as the party would later find out. The strong smell, though masked at the time by the very powerful old lady that was sitting there patting him on the head as she watched him dig in the dirt, that no one questioned afterwards on how she wasn't gagging by the scent. The party managed to take in this extremely unsanitary and unique smelling individual after picking up a quest from Ice that would involve the party. If I remember right, you ended up going with the glitter fire ooze, wasn't it?
Yeah, we have the bottles to go do that too.
Yep. As you lot managed to grab those quests, heading back out with now Melvin acquired, there was about, honestly, I think like 2-3 hours of dealing with Melvin's cloak and the smell of him is a good way to sum up the majority of the session. 3 hours straight of trying to figure out what to do.
We first went to the smith that wanted the glitter fires taken care of to figure out how to catch them.
No, I remember.
Just
However,
let him story tell.
However, if you want me to actually continue this, let the DM, don't backseat DM. You got your own campaign. No, yes, I recall. But the majority of sessions spent with the 2 to 3 hours focusing on the getting rid of that cloak and helping Melvin figure out his AC that wasn't 5. The party managed to run into a individual giant, seemingly wearing nothing but heavy black adamantine armor, which, thankfully, due to Alar's connections, got them a decent job, as the party would find out. A job at the request of the Horned Devil to go and take out a group of necromancers north of the city. As the party had decided to follow after that, deciding it would be more worthwhile, and remembering that the Glitterfire quest and location was about 2 trees, as it was noted, to the west, to the east of the Longhouse, the party decided to head up the main road with the group in tow, after dealing with a bit of Melvin's cloak. As the party managed to find themselves deep into the forest, after about traveling through most of the day, they ended up encountering a rare group of 4 bone drinkers, a group of creatures that seemingly gave them pretty much the greatest hassle, minus Alar, who managed to come out of that almost unscathed. With Melvin getting his first real taste of combat with Saturday as he watched Rollerman get up, go down, get up, go down, and get up once more, and James struggle with all of his might to take a single goblin down until he finally grappled it to the ground to smack it once. As Alar would end up saving the day, and Melvin trying to recover Rollerman, the party would decide after the major defeat of the bone drinkers to retreat back to the city for the time being, curing their party of the sickness that they had developed from the poison of the creatures. As the party had come to the end of session, they had decided to head back into the forest, refusing to give up on that still right after downing those potions like the shot glasses they were. We pick up back once more when the party, reaching the edge of the the forest, seeing within the darkness kind of coming overhead, now being roughly about 6 in the evening, Rollman in the back, almost barely conscious as he is at this point developing a fever from the constant attacks, or the constant jabbings and death. Melvin, who looks to be trying to attend to him and trying to figure out what's wrong with him, succeeding about as much as any doctor being handed a dog and told, hey, it's the same thing, could do. As we come back to, I imagine Alar and James at the front of the wagon, kind of ushering the dire wolf to continue forward.
Yep.
All right. As you lot continue heading up the forest, give me some search checks and some listen checks, because I assume you're completely on edge.
Yep. 15 for my search. 16 for my listen.
Okay.
I don't have high hopes, I'll roll higher, but we'll find out. 17 for search. High roll, but low modifier. I think I have the same modifier for listen. I do.
Right.
Oh, hey. 21 for listen.
Oh!
Dog ears.
There we go.
Okay. Alright. As you begin to kind of watch heading through the forest, the thick roots kind of almost looking longer and more kind of maniacal and twisted in the darkness that kind of starts to pour into this forest. The silent winds kind of blowing through and giving the occasional whistle. As you kind of pass by where the obvious signs of combat, the bone drinkers having, the signs where the bone drinkers were. No, because you guys took the corpses with you, didn't you?
We did take the corpses.
That's
I think
right.
they're still even now.
They're in a bag.
Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. You guys put them in the wagon. That's right. My apologies. Yeah, seeing the signs, though, of the, let me turn down my eerie forest music here. There we go. Listen, as a DM, you gotta get into it, right? As you kind of look about, though, the unnatural darkness kind of playing tricks on your eyes as you see shadows moving in and out, though nothing seems to be out there, as it's almost too thick to even see or really notice anything. Listening in and kind of focusing to the sounds of the woods, nothing seems to pick up, not the crunch of leaves, no squirrels chittering, no birds cawing. The sounds are almost deafening of silence, minus the occasional motorcycle in the distance.
It's just a man making noises with his mouth.
Yeah, that's just Tim in the background. Don't mind him. He's practicing for competition.
Not Tim again.
Tim the Flaming Hand. He's already out and about. It's his origin story. No. You know what? No. But no, as you continue through the dark forest, it starts to kind of clear out a bit as you get closer to the longhouse. The longhouse coming into view about a half a mile to about a mile down the road from you, as the trees start to somewhat thin, the roots kind of get lower, more into the ground, the trees themselves thin, look less old as far as like the width of them. The overgrowth above you starts to clear a little bit, but due to the dark clouds, all that you get is sparkles of rain every once in a while as you come closer. As you take a look at the longhouse, I imagine coming to a stop about half a mile out and kind of staying off to the side with the thick of the trees. It looks to be about 70 feet long, roughly from what you can guess, maybe 40 feet wide at the entrance, probably about double that at the center. It looks to be kind of slightly, every like 10 feet of the building seems to have like a large, hefty support beam pushed up against it and pushed into the side of the wall, kind of seemingly holding it up as it goes. The longhouse seems to almost expand outward, kind of narrow at the bottom and kind of get wider in the middle, and then narrow again towards the roof, kind of giving almost like a boat, as if it was actually built like a boat. You can see that the bottom is mostly cobblestones, and it looks like they do have some sort of what looks to be a root cellar, as you can see what looks to be vents to kind of breathe into there, and can't see like any flooring, and nothing seems to be very clear from this distance. But nonetheless, as you look at the front, there doesn't seem to be any guards. No one seems to be standing up. The doors themselves seem to be closed. Through the couple of slits that you can kind of, where the wood looks to be slightly rotted, you can see that there is a glow from some sort of hearth within. The sounds of crackling wood can be pretty much heard even from this distance, as kind of roaring fire seems to be coming from within the place. Otherwise, the roof seems to be made of a thick, like straw and moss-like material. As you look on.
Okay. I think as per our planning, I'm gonna stealth up on my own, trying not to be heard.
Yep.
Okay.
It's
Well,
time for scouting.
I'll stay basically as still as possible while
Oh,
making
yeah, just hang
sure
out here.
to.
You're half a mile away. You shouldn't be spotted too easily.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm clanky.
I assume, yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna be staying on the wagon
yeah,
watching,
but Cameron,
basically.
think about this. You get like a -2 to spot check every like 10 feet out it is. You're half a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fog.
Oh,
I
I
say,
believe in you.
you guys can clearly. I mean, the building's not exactly hiding. That's why you can clearly see it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Go ahead and give me a move silently and a hide check.
okay. I've specifically prepared for these. I would have preferred the nat 20 on the move silently because it's the lower modifier, but the hide's at 33.
That's nice. Okay.
Let's see, that's a 13 before mod, which I think of a +8. I do.
Okay.
So 21.
All
Yeah.
right. And are you just trying to sneak? What's the plan here?
I'm sneaking up to the building. I want to see if the wizard dragons are here right now.
Okay. Yeah, as you sneak up to the building, kind of walking past, you kind of come to what looks to be a perimeter where the trees themselves are about 10 feet out, or 10 feet out from what looks to be a pathway that circles around the building. Seems to be kind of cleared for the most part. There's a couple of bushes here and there, but it looks like most of the ground seems to be cleared as you kind of find yourself kind of on your hands and knees crawling towards the longhouse. As you get closer, though, you do find that the ground itself seems to have little ruts in it, as if there used to be some thick wood, like a wall of some sort, used to have been placed here and have been pulled out one by one. As you kind of look about, as you get closer, though, finally getting up towards the longhouse and leaning up against it, you come to the front and left side of the wall when facing the entrance of it. As you kind of put your ear up to it, you can hear the sounds of the crackling fire within. Give me another listen check to see if you can hear any voices, though.
Okay. 18.
As you kind of take a second and shove your ear up right against to it, the sounds of crackling fire, the crackling fire seems to kind of overtake the room. The occasional sounds of clanking glasses, almost like wood hitting wood, and liquid sounding as if it's spilling onto the ground, can be heard from within. You don't hear any voices, though. It's almost eerily absent. Though, as you do hear multiple people walking about, or individuals walking about, you gather at first one, two, and then count in total about 9 individuals, kind of every once in a while stepping about that you can make out individually.
Can I glance through one of the rotted like slits that you said were in the building?
Yeah. As you kind of walk over, or kind of head to the back end of the the back left end of the building, looking in, you see the large, what looks to be a large throne-like chair set up with multiple pieces of bone, pieces of wood and stone, almost as if someone's just kind of put a bunch of rubble together to try and make a fancy chair. An individual who seems to be kind of sitting there looks to be this large Loxodon, just kind of chilling in this very thick purple armor. It looks to be somewhat like metallic of sorts, almost as if full plate. As they sit down looking down towards where, as you kind of angle yourself to look further in, you see 4 hooded figures sitting, kind of each with glasses in hand, or with wooden mugs in hand, filled with some sort of dark liquid, while each of them seems to have a very large and flesh torn apart, pieces of guts hanging out, individuals looking large zombie-like figures. All 4 of them, as you can kind of glance, seem to all be very muscled, and look to be carrying great axes on their back. The individual sitting at the throne, I will say, you do almost immediately recognize as Comrie, who you'd also recognize the name, or know as Lost Tusk.
Oh, my friend. My new friend.
They seem to be just kind of sitting there, staring down at the necromancers who are sitting further towards like the long tables that have been set to either side of this long fire that you can see in there.
Are there seats anywhere near any of the walls?
Not that you can tell.
Or are they in like the middle of the building?
It's just literally in the middle.
Okay. I think I know what I have to do. I know you described it. There's not an underbelly, so it's not like a raised longhouse, I would assume.
As you look, kind of leaning down towards looking at the cobbles, they do have it does have a root cellar that you can see because as I mentioned earlier, there looks to be vents underneath the building itself set up, and as you look in, there's a thick or a very long root cellar that's been dug in. You can actually see that the building itself looks to be held up by thick stone pillars.
Does it look like I could fit?
What's your size?
I'm size large.
No, you'd have to be small.
How far away are the four?
From where you're standing, diagonally, from what you can see, they'd be about. See if that's 80. That'd be about 60-ish feet from you.
I think that's in range for what I want to do. Yeah. Is the root cellar thing flat enough? I think you could roll something under there.
Oh yeah, it's also deep, so it's like it looks to be deep enough for someone to walk around in.
But they have to be size small.
Yeah, but to get into the vents, yeah, that's the problem. The house seems to be sitting not very high off the ground as far as it goes as you look.
I think the blast radius is big enough. I'm gonna play a little bit of skee ball to roll some dither bombs under them.
Oh no!
Do you want to come back and get enlarged first?
Nah, dude, I got this.
Okay.
The first 24, of course, will not be triggered. Because due to them being non-magical, when one goes off near them, they should all burst.
Yep.
So the first 24 is going to be rolled non-magically one by one until they're sitting under these four necromancers.
Alright. What's the radius of the explosion by chance? Or diameter?
It is a 5-foot radius burst.
So 10-foot diameter, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Alright.
At the very least, I'm going to collapse this building.
Oh yeah, here we go. So much for friend.
Hey man, I'm not going for him. He'll probably survive.
It's true.
Because we weren't hired to kill him.
However, if he dies, it's really no skin off our nose. He's working with
If he dies, it happens. But he's also not the target. So the other four die and he comes to kill us, we just get to run because we don't care.
He pops out to kill us. We're leaving and informing them, oh yeah, this guy was in there.
Had leader, but didn't look like necromancer, wasn't who you hired us to kill. So.
Let's see.
Can give name.
For money.
For bonus.
Was not hired to give you information.
Just checking some.
I'll say, let Alar talk in the black market. There's kind of a game of squeezing out money of people for things you're hired for. Alar's learning the black market game.
Okay. Oh no. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, just do you need anything rolled or?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting. I thought you were making an attack against the stuff. Yeah. Oh,
you never told me to roll.
My apologies. I thought it had a set roll to it already. So I was like, wait, okay, yeah, go ahead and roll to attack with it.
No, because they're just supposed to burst within range. They don't have a roll to throw them technically.
If you're aiming for a location, it's still a roll to attack because you're like aiming for an area you're trying to hit. So as far as
you want 24 rolls, or do you roll for all of them?
One roll for all of them will work. Yeah.
All right.
And it'll be just your base attack bonus because it's be considered this be a throwing attack. So.
Yeah, but throwing also usually includes strength.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, here it is. Throw a splash potion, which is what this technically would be considered.
That's probably fair. What are the rules? I did my roll already, but I'll
So
tell you my
require
roll.
no weapon proficiency, so you don't take a -4 to it. Treat as a range attack against AC 5. Did you hit above AC 5?
I rolled a 16 on just the dice alone.
Yeah, fucking. Alright, yeah.
They're all where you want them to be.
You kind of grab one out of the bag after enough of there and kind of lightly like toss them like little bean bags into a chute. Going one after another towards the pillared area right underneath the individuals. As you do so, all 23 will go as you go for the last 24th, kind of raising it over your head to get a bit more of an actual hit. Go ahead.
The 25th is the exploding one.
Oh, is it the 25th? All right.
The 24 are the setup. I'm basically making a pile.
Oh god. Yeah. As you go take the 25th one and swing and throw it. Go ahead and give me a roll for it. Let's see if this thing hits.
Yep.
I think you can only roll on that one to fail, but you know.
Well, I rolled a 5 on just the dice, but since the AC is only 5, I think I'm good.
As you go to chuck this thing as hard as you can towards the big pile of little sacks of powder, they've kind of slowly landed on each other, kind of bits and pieces of it kind of falling out as the bag get piled on and hit. As that thing hits, it starts to explode. Go ahead and roll damage.
Right before it explodes, I whisper, because the locksmith's right on the other side of the wall, right? He's like right there.
He is about 15 feet from you. Yeah. In the center of the back end.
I'm going to whisper if he hears me or not. Sorry, friend, right as it's about to blow up.
Do a listen check.
It's 97 damage.
That's 25. Alright, that's a success. I'm going to give them a reflex save to see if they're quick enough to turn and run. I think it's only fair. Oh, well, if I could actually type roll.
We have a high reflex save.
I do. 16. As you roll, what was the damage? Oh my god.
97.
Alright, let me give the necromancers saves. I'm just gonna do one, because I don't think they can actually...
Also, I don't know if the lockstone needs to... Oh, they failed. Oh, that's full damage.
Yeah. This is gonna take the whole building down. This is to get that. This is them also jumping out of the building as it's coming down.
By the way, as I throw it, I'm backing up to get more towards the forest. Not quite running, but I don't want to be caught in the blast radius.
Yeah, trying to get a quick movement going. Yeah, I got you. All right, as you
I'm watching from my range.
I want to be like 80 feet back, because if someone comes out, I want to see them be able to run before they do anything.
That was 97.
Yeah.
And that's that is individual. Fuck.
That's to all of them separately.
In every single one of them.
As you watch the building kind of implode up in this grayish smoke, little bits of gray fire exploding out as the building starts to crack and rumble, kind of falling into on itself as it does so. The building kind of collapses in, the roof falling first, the screams of peril for just a mere second, as then the sounds sounds like something wet splashing around you as you run away. Allard, give me a D100 roll to see if you get hit by debris.
Okay.
As is only fair, I do to all parties now.
I mean, that's fair. 80.
Alright, it does not hit you as the blood and guts from the explosion seem to splatter all about behind you as you kind of jog away, kind of keep it staring back, watching and waiting. You see, though, just for a moment, the back of the building seems to explode almost for just a second before the gray fire comes out, erupting out, as you see someone kind of charging into the forest as fast as they can, disappearing.
Are they toward me?
No, out the back of the building, and as you guys are kind of like...
leaving.
Yeah, they would be heading east in the direction where you are south of the building at this point. They seem to charge out and disappear into the dark forest, not following a trail as you hear the cracks of wood in the distance, James. Even from this distance, the sounds of massive trees can be heard and felt rumbling as they fall over.
I guess I'll start bringing the cart up, seeing as this is probably their
Job
dead, but
done.
I want to go and go double tap.
Fuck you, I didn't even think you'd use these for this.
Once I get up there, I want you to know, if there's any wood that's not on fire, it's getting firebolted. and
I
lit.
told you I was gonna cheese this fight. I wasn't fighting these fights.
As you kind of come over, kind of watching over it, just watching the fire burn. Assuming that James is going to spend time at James, let's say you lose. We'll roll for it. How about James, pick a number. Between
3.
All right, that works. I was gonna say between 1 and 20. That works. All right. You succeed. The fire is strong enough to just keep burning. You don't need to waste a spell slot as it kind of continues throughout. Spending about 2 hours watching this as you do. Kind of
Making sure nothing comes out.
Yeah, snaking, watching that nothing crawls out, staring at it. I imagine walking, kind of doing a good walk around the building every few minutes. Eventually, the fire does finally die out as the heavy rain starts to pour down. It's about 8:30, 9-ish at this point at night. It is dark overhead. It is cold as a 30-degree rain just starts dropping down, light snow mixed into it, putting out the last of the ash as you look down. As you do, give me a quick spot check, both of you.
I swear to God.
Well, it's search if it was a necromancer or an individual. It's spot if it's something else.
21.
Thank God I rolled a 12.
Yeah. 21. As you look down, James, kind of poking a few things, moving it with your boot your metal boot every once in a while, checking to go into the charcoal to make sure nothing is like hands are walking about, no skeletons are crawling out there and grab you. As you look in, you notice that there's a thing. What looks to be a heavy tube filled with something that survived the fire. As you kind of jostle it with your foot, you feel something long in there, kind of moving back and forth, as well as something else that kind of makes a strange, like clanking sound, like glass on glass. As you kind of look down at the long tube itself, looks to be unremarkable, almost as if it was like a quiver that had a leather cap put to it.
I'll pick it up. I'll go, well, this thing survived the acid and the fire.
I think Alar's digging for any proof of kill left. Although I'm not.
James would also go check and make sure the floor collapsed.
Yeah.
Okay.
James would also go check and make sure that the root cellar was empty at this point. That the floor caved into it basically.
Oh, you would have when you had to jump down into the hole to get this, James. So I can fully confirm that this is all falling in. This is just a big fire pit basically now that's been put out by the rain. It's turned to ashy mud.
I got a 16.
16. And you said you're specifically looking for proof of kill.
Proof of kill. Any part of the necromancer bodies left. Parts of undead. Anything I can find really.
Alright, you do find a chain shirt where one of the necromancers you saw were sitting based on, like, as you kind of walk over to where you'd seen them and start digging down, you do find a heavy chain shirt that is large, that seems to be kind of laying where one of the necromancers were. It has a black brandished mark on the metal that has the words... the smiling devil kind of marked into a like solid patch of metal or of bronze as like a signature mark.
I'll do a search for any other magical items that may have survived.
I will say otherwise, Alar, you find no other bits or pieces of the individuals. Go ahead, James. Yeah,
I'd like to do a little search to see if there's any other magical gear other than this apparent tube with a creature inside of it that I'm not opening. That's a 10. I'm assuming I find no other magical gear that may have survived.
There you go. As you look around, kind of kicking about the pieces of wood, moving about what's left of the stone pillars, and with the heavy rain coming down, the mud's kind of getting slopping. You're starting to find yourself kind of getting sucked into the ground a bit as you look about. And, I mean, as you look, James, you find a gold coin that has a strange mark on it. You've never seen. It looks to be a golden fish with a crown on it, like a trout. As you kind of look at the thing and just kind of hold this thing up and think about it for a second. Even that roll, just with your dwarven background, your merchant background, you would know there's no kingdom that makes coins like this.
I'll look to Alar. They had counterfeit coins.
I will say this is an actual gold coin, also in comparison to the typical gemstone or calorium coins.
Yeah,
I'm really
this is
tempted to
weird.
poke it because I don't trust gold coins to not be mimic eggs.
Can I try and sense magic from it?
Yeah, give me a second.
Wisdom?
Yeah, I'll take a wisdom check.
20. My
Uh,
casting stat has come in handy.
as you kind of take a look at the coin, stare at it, looking for any signs of magic, you sense no auras.
I don't think it's quite magical. Laura, you want to put it in a sack and take it with us to show to them?
Okay. Can go in loot bag.
I hand it off to Alar. I'll carry this big tube. There's something in this tube. It's wiggling. I don't know what the fuck it is, and it's making me worried. But we'll be able to turn your quest in, I think, tomorrow morning. Unless you think we can get in there to meet them tonight.
No. Camp out somewhere tonight, turn in quest tomorrow.
I don't think we should camp out here.
Well,
Looking
not
at
right
the
here.
crater
but
we're in.
You walk 4 hours to town, middle of night? All through?
No, not...
A sudden howling
Not
of a
exact-
distant creature in the deep forest, sounding as if it's a dragon and a dire wolf seemingly that have mixed together.
Yeah.
I want to find that creature later, but no.
Okay. Then walk back, find campsite.
Let's go. Well, I brought the cart with me, so go ahead and hop on and we'll head out. Find somewhere to set up that gives us good cover.
Alright, as you kind of gather yourselves, climbing back out of the hole and onto the wagon, the dire wolf kind of looks to sniff the air, looking about for a moment and about the forest as it turns, kind of following orders, and as the wagon comes around, the creature seems to walk slowly and warily, but seems to continue nonetheless. As you lot come to the edge of the forest after another 2 hours of kind of slow walking through this dark forest, the eeriness now and the almost pitch blackness seemingly to combine with the lack of any sound other than the occasional whistle from the wind and what sounds like bats kind of fluttering about deep in the forest. As you finally see the exit of the trees coming into view. As the both of you are sitting at the front of the wagon, in the back, Rolloman and Melvin still Rolloman kind of out cold at this point, Melvin kind of watching over and making sure nothing kind of happens, no strangeness. You, Lar and James, kind of notice at the entrance of the forest, it looks to be a large and wide figure, kind of almost fully encompassed in shadow, standing at the exit, right in the way.
I'll just say I'll approach, and I'll get off the cart and walk towards.
Okay.
I'll stay on the cart, ready with the spell.
Alright. As you go walking up, give me a search check to see if you can get any features of this individual.
Okay. Nat 20 for 22. Always low mod skills.
As you look them up and down, kind of getting closer, you see the dark purple armor coloration of the Losk Tusk themselves, Kamir. The large, thick-furred mammoth Loxodon who seems to be just kind of standing there staring at you as you approach.
I'm just gonna hold out the one surviving item from these people we killed that I collected. This armor.
You see, he just kind of sighs and goes, "Warning! Would have been fan-fucking-tastic. I
caught me.
I almost died. I had them right where I wanted them. I was gonna take them out, and then... What was that?"
Cobalt bomb. Cobalt bombs.
I don't like those.
Good that friend survived.
Yeah. You do that again, and I'm gonna shove some coins in your mouth and heat metal. This is your one time.
That's fair.
See him nod and go, I assume you lot are heading back to town?
And there's nod.
Well, I guess I'll head with you. I'm not going anywhere else, so... plus numbers and all.
You know what tube was?
Tube?
The weird tube thing. Survived explosion.
It kind of walks back over with you, looking at James and looking him up and down in the heavy
hold
armor.
up the tube.
Looks like a tube to me.
Yeah, something's in it wiggling, and it's making me a little nervous.
Let me see it.
Okay.
I will.
If he's willing to take the risk and open it, I guess.
I'll hand it off to him.
Sam kind of like takes hold of it. The thick fur and a furred hand kind of brushing up against you. His hand like dwarfs you, or makes yours look dwarfed as he grasps the thing from you. Tiny as it is,
I am
almost
a
pencil
dwarf.
size. He kind of looks at the quiver and kind of goes and shakes it next to his ear and goes, "Give you 200 gold pieces for it."
What in it?
Mystery. And he looks at it.
I just look at James. He's the merchant. I just shrug.
Not knowing the value of this to sell it at 200. For all I know, that could be an illicit parasite.
Which then, to be fair, if it's that, we really don't want it. We really don't. If you want me to open it, Cameron, I will. If you...
$250.
He just
The tube at least survived an acid and an explosion, so
It's at least sturdy.
He shrugs, pulls out some coin and hands it to you and goes, "Sure."
Cool.
I got 250 more gold.
There you go, Cameron. Weird mystery item, no longer a problem.
He kind of pops the thing open and like pours out the items, and you see as a wand falls into his hand and 2 potion vials fall into his hand.
Yeah.
It was wiggling. I don't trust it. I still made a profit off this. I'm fine.
And he looks at you, he goes, "Potions, move, it's a liquid."
Olar just nods sagely.
As you see the large Loxodon kind of shakes the potion a little bit for emphasis as the water splashes about and goes, and holds out in front of you. And goes, "Acid arrows are nice." And he looks at the wand, putting the wand into a bag on his side. Takes the potions, kind of ties them to his belt. As he kind of like falls in line, walking alongside the wagon, not climbing aboard, just kind of walking with you a lot. As you kind of get to the exit of the forest, James kind of thinking, I imagine at this point, contemplating.
I'm not. It's potions are potions. I could have identified them in the wand and gotten more, but it's no real loss because it was cost not much to get in this instance to him.
Oh, that's fair. As you come to the outskirts of the forest, he kind of smiles up and goes, "Yeah, at least no more necromancers in town. All have gone to Mercenaries Hollow."
Oh, when did that happen? Because
Necromancer
a few
fighting
nights ago.
Yeah, necromancers fighting mercenaries, he nods to Alar. And guy looks back at James and goes, "They've been slowly transitioning out. A few of them are smuggling themselves out. They're afraid of this group called the Cryptic Cabal finding them. Apparently, the group hunted down aboleths and would kill necromancers at the blink of a hat."
Alar heard of them. Have weird fire-breathing turtle thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I heard about them in the taverns.
Saw it firsthand myself, the whole fight. Watched them drop a building on that aboleth. Oh, I'm almost 100% sure that creature survived. There ain't no way a castle falls on that thing and it didn't walk away. They didn't even check it. But I wasn't gonna stick around to find out. I saw that and I was like, I can make more money walking away than fighting that damn thing.
Yeah, but it's good to double tap sometimes, so that's
that
why I came
aboleth-
up ready to burn the rest of the building down for whatever was left.
Mm-hmm.
That fish creature not survive? Thought, then what big aboleth thing that killing adventurers?
That's
Different aboleth?
That's the question. There's some that are saying it's the same, some that are saying it's different, some say it's white, one says it's purple, the other says it's green.
Gregland infested by aboliths.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's partly why we're probably going to be heading south here shortly.
If you don't mind my asking, as he kind of perks up, his eyes kind of watching out in the distant, the distant fields and the occasional trees, just kind of eyeing to see if there's any enemies about, as he seems to look side to side. Not going for any weapon, as you look at him up and down. He doesn't seem to have any physical weapons, wearing what looks to be just normal common or nobleman's clothing, with some simple robes overhead, with a bright purplish coloration with red underneath and a little bit of gold inlay for the coloration. But as he kind of looks over at you and smiles, kind of now that his plate has vanished, he looks about and goes, "Yeah. If you don't mind my asking, your friend Olar there mentioned something about you work for this group called the Ironheart Merchant Company.
Aye.
Are you looking for business partners or like places to unload goods? I'm looking for some new connections, and your friend Olar was such a sweet help to me. Even managed to irritate one of the bosses I was dealing with." As he kind of looks over. He smiles as he looks over to Laura and goes, they mention it and looks back at you and then goes, "Perfect. How about we write up some a contract and I'll give you what, 10% below market value for all your any goods you want to hawk here."
That something's ticking off in James's brain. Depends on the items, because I personally try to ensure that my goods are well worth the price.
In the time Alar knew this guy, because I didn't get much written about him, I just know he's a new friend I made, because I got more about the other dude I met. Did he give like what he deals in the city and what he actually really does here?
The only thing that you know about him is that you've been able to gather was that he is is rumored to be the underboss to the Forgotten Staffs.
Okay.
So underboss
it's more
means
of a black...
Yeah. This is a black market connection. Yeah.
It's a good black market connection.
Yeah. This person's basically like second rank to what would be an entire crime family, from your understanding.
If I remember right, my deal with the other black market was only to buy from him, not to sell to him. It was that I can only buy from his stalls.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just making sure we can make this deal if Cameron wants to. I don't want to step on the toes of the other dude by making another deal.
We only hawk our specialties to your specialties to you.
Kind of looks at you for a second and goes, "Listen, I'll make it simple to you, James. I like your friend," as he kind of looks over at Alar and gives a smile. "And I like what you're trying to do. You're a merchant after my own heart. You're trying to go out there and make a decent living while at the same time doing it smartly. The necromancy business was a brilliant plan." As he looks at James, assuming James came up with the plan. And goes,
"Let him think that."
I'll let him think it for now.
"I think you'd be a better connection for me, and that's why I'm giving you this shake. I know what you're thinking. It's too good to be true. Alar's probably told you I'm a powerful individual in the black market. Understand, I was a mercenary not 2 months ago. Just trying to make a living like anyone else, and that's what I'm still trying to do. I don't want to be on a lower rank for the rest of my life. I want my own thing one day, and patching up with you seems like it might get me a good benefit. Plus, I heard from a friend of mine, a connection named, what is she going by these days? Drift? I think is the new name she goes by. It's not accurate, but it's the one she likes to use as a joke."
Aye, she now works under me.
"Oh, good on you. She's a close friend of mine. And spoke well of the Ironheart Merchant Company, though she did say you were a lot taller. Very good in bed as well."
I kind of just look towards Rollman.
Probably referring to the main person that dealt with her.
"Yes, James Rolleman, correct?"
No, I point at Rollman, the guy laying in the cart.
I point back at the guy that's laying in the back of the cart.
And then I point back at James and say James. Separate people.
Rolleman, James.
"Oh, my misunderstanding. My apologies, good sir. But, point still stands. You do good business and you do fair business. Now, I did hear about that business with Zell's, but hey, wanted posters are wanted posters. It wasn't like you were the one who put them at a knife point.
No, and I sold him. Brought him to the place where I figured the most benefit and most protection for him would be provided, rather than just turning him over to somewhere I can't find.
You don't have to justify your intentions to me. I make money on the market as is. But I understand what you have to do. So, what do you say as we get back to town? Not tonight, of course, because I'm gonna go find a nice warm bunk to sleep in. And I assume you lot are gonna find yourselves an inn unless you got one of them fancy airships like everyone else.
James is really glad that his helmet is hiding his smile right now.
He continues and goes, how about we write up a deal? You come into town, I'll buy off any goods you got. If you don't want to sell your goods to me, you take the contract. You're guaranteed good prices when you come to town, and you can come back and you can sell them when you want. If you don't come back, you don't gotta sell them. I just think
it does give us a buyer for first item stuff if we have to.
Yeah. I'd like to just roll mercantile to see how good this deal is, generally, from what I've seen.
Sure.
While he rolls that, I have a question for my friend, as I look at him. Alar join more raids for loot against rival group?
It kind of looks at you. And it goes, I got more work for you.
Fucking 7, I'm taking this. This is a decent deal from what I've had. I've been shafted before because I talk too much.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm just kind of working on my mohawk with one of the combs I stole. The golden one.
Gotta try and get it back up into shape. Okay. As James, as you roll and kind of think this, I mean, it's a good connection at the very least. The only thing you can see that's bad about this is that means you're associated with black market. But honestly, all you're doing is selling at 10% below market value. I mean, can anybody really fault you for whatever you're selling? You're a merchant. That's not a bad deal. For all you know, there's no connection here. You could still play off, hey, I didn't know he was a black market merchant. I just thought he was a regular dude selling things.
It's also, like, the easiest way for us to hawk illegal goods that we're absolutely going to run into because we keep running into pirates and shit.
Not only that, cursed goods that I don't want to deal with.
Like, a place we can quietly hawk cursed goods and not have to... Cursed goods and illegal goods and not deal with it at only 10% below market.
I think I'll come in tomorrow and deal with that contract then. It sounds like a good deal for me.
You know.
And for you.
And next time you're going to take out some necromancers, give a gentleman a warning.
We weren't told that anyone else would be there. We were honestly expecting only the 4 of them.
I didn't
Alar
expect
was
anybody
worried
to...
with you on throne. Alar thought you were affiliated, but Alar wasn't aiming for you. Got middle of house.
Oh, I was selling them bodies that they were buying them. That's what I am. I'm a merchant at heart. It's, I don't really personally take sides politically.
Honestly, if they had survived, I may have gone the route of trying to sell them back their own lives at that point.
He kind of seems to smile slightly at that and continue on and goes, I think this will be a good partnership.
Alar's really sprouting
James
to a black
is embracing the true merchant spirit. Yeah. If you lose to my company, your life is mine.
I did not think that this random dog character I played for a reason to talk like an idiot would become a black market connection as a character.
It's always how it works, the goofy
you,
speaker.
Once we are in town and separate off from him, I look over to Alar. You've got yourself a promotion, Alar. You're now head of black market of the BM movement.
I'm the illegal guy. I'm down. I swear, this character's gonna end with Alar like smoking a cigar as an underboss somewhere. Random crime lord.
As you head to town, as you watch the Loxodon, known as Lost Tusk, kind of it was a wave. The robes and the fancy nobleman's clothing seems to disappear, and the heavy purple plate mail, full plate, seems to reappear all around them as they walk into the gates, leaving you two kind of outside with the wagon, outside of the gates to wait as they head off on their own. The captain of the guard kind of looking up at... Yeah, the captain of the guard looking up at you as you guys kind of walk this gentleman up to the gate, kind of letting one person in at a time as his requirement to the city. The guard little kobold looks up at you and goes, So, have a fun time up north?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys have been doing a lot of business around here. I can't help but notice you're with a pretty dangerous individual.
Yeah. Met in tavern.
Good friend to have. Good friend to have. He nods. Um, by the way, James, I can't help. He kind of like pulls a little leather satchel off this of his belt or off his belt and kind of holds up and goes, a letter came through for you as he pulls out this heavy piece of leather with a wax seal on it. That looks to be a black wax seal with a simple cobalt hand kind of imprinted onto it. And he goes, I was told to give this to you if you came back, but I'm not funny because I couldn't. I told the guy, I was like, well, what if they don't come back and they go to another town? He said that you'd come back. I no idea.
I'll take
Very
the letter.
worried about cobalt
Thank you,
hand.
my friend. As I will hand him. You know what? He's a guard captain. He normally doesn't deliver letters. Let's hand him 5 gold.
Before he hands it, can I roll how much does a guard captain make? Because I have been spending a lot of time among people that might know that.
Yeah, give me a gather information, let's say.
This is far out of his fucking purview, though, to fucking sit there and deliver a letter.
It doesn't matter because we came to him also. You got to consider that as well. I think it's a 23 because I have a plus 11. Yeah.
23. Every roughly daily they make about 5 to 7 gold depending on their individual ability in this city. I mean, guards and higher ranking guards get paid quite well. In comparison to like what you would have known Alar from what you would have seen the guards getting bribed with back in like around Dragon's Crown, would be like a gold a week compared to like 6 to 7 a day that you'd see here. So it's pretty common that these guards make good money.
Day's pay.
All right,
Not bad.
I'll allow 5 gold. If I heard anything lower, I was gonna fucking take gold out of your hand and give him a lesser amount.
But yeah, as you hand him the 5 gold, he kind of looks at it and goes, I appreciate that. It was wearing a red, as he kind of pockets the gold, he goes, he was wearing a red cloak. Angry fella. Had a really wicked smile. I think he's one of them proto-fiend types. I mean, I've seen plenty of them, but it's always hard to tell because there's such variety.
Can I pull out the bounty poster of Jakix and ask if he looked like this?
Yeah, as you pull it out and kind of point to it, the guard looks up at it and goes, I haven't seen him.
Strange. As I'll put it away.
Alright.
Alar's never seen him in a different size or anything, so.
Yeah, James knows he has magical capabilities, but doesn't know to what extent at this
Well, yeah,
point.
because I think only Sunday's seen him at like different heights. We've only seen him twice, and he was the same both times.
Yeah.
As the doors open.
Alar, do you mind steering the cart? I'll read this beside you.
Yeah, as you pop it, as you kind of break the seal, the captain of the guard waves you through the doors opening as you guys, I assume, are heading into the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll head through the city instead of around.
Okay.
Safer that way.
Yeah.
Well, it might be too late, because remember the city closes for people leaving and entering shortly. I don't know
Either
if we'll
way,
make
we
all the
can go.
through.
We also have rooms at the Garden's Grace.
Yeah, we'll probably end up staying at Garden's Grace at this point.
Okay. Yeah, as you head through, James, you said you're going to pop the seal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to ask that question a second time.
Is this a magical trap?
Wait, yeah. Does this thing have magic?
It does indeed have magic. Even as soon as you go to crack the seal, you get a slight tinge in your hand of something.
Grabs my hammer, taps
Really
the
gotta learn
letter,
to stop
dispelling
opening
magic.
letters. Especially if they're from Jakix.
Wait, what you do? What'd you say?
Dispelling the magic with my hammer.
Yeah, as you use your hammer and use your charge and kind of like tap it with the hammer lightly, you watch as the letter seems to sputter for a moment. The black seal seems to disintegrate into almost nothing, to dust, and then disappear on the wind. As the thing seems to almost unbound itself slightly.
There you go.
As the
Do I check for a secondary spell? Do I dare?
do you?
Yes, I'm checking for a fucking secondary spell.
Okay.
Fucking roll wisdom, I guess.
Yeah, wisdom. I'll take for this, or spellcraft or knowledge or
24.
24. As you go to do it once more, kind of looking, feeling about before opening the seal. As Large kind of looks at you, staring at this piece of leather that's unbounding itself. Just kind of looking at you with confusion, I imagine, as you just kind of freak out, dropping it and tapping it with your hammer. As it sits in your lap, and as you kind of start to focus, you feel no other magic.
All right, I'll open this up now. I didn't want to get hit with whatever that was.
As you open it, you see a single, what looks to be a smudged, painted black kobold hand with claws on it, and what looks to be a piece of mithril in the shape of a turtle scoot, kind of like tied up on the side of it, and that's all that's in there.
Oh, cool.
He sent us one of his scoots. We're not keeping it.
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this scoot? What the fuck is this? It's made of mithril.
Ooh, Allura thinks he gets it.
What?
Shamans use animal pieces to track people.
Ah. Suppose we can't keep it then. What if I
No.
melt it down, since it's made of mithril?
Alar sell it and market.
Go for it. I'll detach it and
Okay.
hand it off to Alar.
Say, Alar will keep it. It'll go in the sack of what I'm going to give to the people for the quest.
Yeah, as you start heading into the city, you are not told where you were supposed to meet the individual to fulfill this quest, or anything?
I figure they'll either find me or I'll go into the black market and just kind of walk around and tell them approach tomorrow. Like,
Okay.
it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, as you head...
Yeah.
Then as you head further in towards Garden's Grace, heading towards the inn, you see the old lady kind of just sitting out at the front, or in the garden herself, kind of sipping on some tea as she sits at her table, looking at the little flowers growing, occasionally just tossing a bit of what looks to be something off her plate towards a specific plant that bites and grabs the food out of the air and seems to chomp it down. She kind of waves to you too as you kind of park your wagon off to the side of the building, or head to the back of the stable, parking your wagon in the back with Rollman still asleep in it, Melvin now completely conked out, and head back around to the front. Ice
I'll
kind
look at
of.
Largo. I'll carry Rollerman. You can carry Melvin.
No,
Since you seem a little
let's
gun-shy
sleep.
around Melvin.
I'll just put a blanket over Rollerman and one over fucking Melvin.
Oh. Yeah, as
Let's
you can.
I hope they don't get fucking kidnapped. That'll be great.
Should be fine.
I'll bring in the parts too, because I'm not leaving them sit out there.
Okay.
I mean, that's probably smart, yeah. Grab the expensive shit.
Yeah, as you grab a chest and start just kind of putting pieces and parts into it. Finishing
All
as
the
it.
bone drinker parts.
Yeah, finishing as it's kind of slightly at this point. It's just a bunch of bones and fleshy beats of flesh kind of slapped into a hefty chest. Many of the bones sticking out, the skulls hanging to the side, barely hanging on. As James kind of picks this thing up and starts waddling towards the front door with it.
Alar will get his own room in case he's approached in the middle of the night, because I don't really want to be in a room with James and some black market just show up in the middle of the room and
Rollman's room.
James.
No, that's fair.
Rollman had a separate room already paid for. You're used to that.
No.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, I'll just stay in Rollman's room.
As you head around into the building, Ice seems to kind of be like have to sleep at the bar. So he kind of looks up and as you walk in, and he sees the bones and then smells the rotten flesh as he goes to plug his nose and goes, "Oh God, James, please tell me that's not what I think it is. Is that Rollman?"
Can I just offer plugs from what I bought earlier?
He just looks at it and be confused as he stares over at James.
I just point at my nose where the nose plugs are probably still in because I never took them out.
Mm-hmm. You see as he kind of like welcomely takes him and looks over at James, waiting to see what he says.
Apart from the things that made me a puddle earlier. Also, do you have any buckets made by the Frosthammers?
No. Why would we have
That was a weird.
bucket? He looks at you and kind of, why do you oh God, it reeks so bad. Please, fuck. For the love of all that is holy, please.
Can't we
I'll
just
adjust the stuff and shut the chest fully.
I was say, can't we put
Even if
them in
there's,
the
like, a
stink
small
bag of holding because
squish.
it smells like shit anyway?
You know what? Yeah, I'll get the bag of holding. And
It
just
smells
slowly
awful in that
put it
bag
all in
anyway.
there.
We're not making it worse.
As you start shoving slop, and bone in. Oh, apologies. I thought I heard something at my door. Kind of shoving anything, all of it in there and kind of cramming in. You watch. Give me a D100. If you roll lower than a 25, the bag of holding will have something happen to it, James. All right. As you manage to get the pieces of bone and guts and bits and flesh into it, shoving as hard as you can. After a few moments, it seems to finish. As you kind of look up, and the smell still kind of slightly emanating from your hands. But as it seems to lessen slightly, Ice just kind of plugs his nose and kind of like pushes two keys forward to you over the bar and like leans back.
Well, snapping with prestidigitation because I always have that fucking ready.
Mm-hmm.
To clean the smell off and everything. I'll take my key and go. I'll have a good night. As I look at the number and waddle to the room.
He just kind of nods as the smell dissipates, still kind of keeping his nose plugged. Alar kind of following shortly after to their room as well. As the two of you head to your rooms and kind of go finding your the nice little setup for the inn, the beds seem to be average with what looks to be about the size of a queen, made out of hefty straw. What looks to be thick wool blankets thrown over the bed, just designed for the heavy winter that this city seems to be experiencing. A single chest, a candle that seems to light up as soon as you walk in, with its bright orangish flame that makes everything slightly brighter. A what looks to be a armoire to write at, like a writing desk. That has been kind of pulled down, and then a single window allowing you kind of see out into the town and onto the road, as well as kind of as you look about, see a few of the other business. They're still kind of slightly open. As you head in there, James, is there anything you'd like to do?
James is gonna actually make a small shopping list for tomorrow because there's at least two things that he wants to get a hold of.
Okay. And Alar is on mute. Alar, are you gonna be a minute?
No, I just continue on to the boiling pot.
Okay.
What I'm talking.
Gotcha. No worries. Want to make sure.
Yep.
All right, James. As you start working on your shopping list and start writing things down, thinking about what you want, Alar, as you head into your room, is there anything you'd like to do?
For flavor, because I leveled up and this is going to be the thing tomorrow, because I had nothing actually to do, I'm going to meditate to my vestiges for the flavor of my binder level up from last session.
Okay. As you begin to kind of focus and clear your mind, kind of finding a nice comfy spot on the bed as you kind of begin to steal your mind for the night, looking into the spirits of the world and trying to, in essence, seek out a vestige willing to give itself over to you. As you begin to spend the night, the two of you kind of spend the entirety of the night almost undisturbed, without issue. A few sounds off in the street here and there as the occasional merchant seems to be drunk and making some noise, but otherwise, as the night goes on, nothing seems to happen. And Alar, who are you choosing for your vestige?
Well, this is not for. I'm doing Savnok because it's for the feat we talked about taking for the secondary binding for a first level vestige.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm in no sense making a separate contract with Savnok.
As you spend the night into this, focusing your mind, you begin to find yourself standing on the battlefield next to Savnok, feeling yourself dreaming as you fight the never-ending battlefield, arrows coming down as you and Savnok slowly begin to merge into one being. Every step you take, he takes, slowly becoming one as the armor seems to start to grasp around you. Not, though, before you can feel the thousands of arrows pinning into your body and almost unpleasant pain continues through this night as you experience what Savnok himself went through before he finally became the legend that he was. As you find yourself coming together with the individual, the heavy armor fully coming around your body and surrounding you, you charge forth, going through and just tearing apart lines of archers and infantrymen in the thousands as you watch. The arrows seemingly popping out and the wounds healing with every kill as you tear another life away from the body as the night continues on. As everything goes forward, you two, as the next morning comes forth, you find yourselves awakening to the sounds of what sounds like a scuffle down below. Heavy footsteps on these stairs as someone seems to be rushing up. As they do, you hear a heavy slam on your door first, James, and then another heavy slam down to Alar's, as if someone's trying to break down the door, a heavy fist pounding against it, as it seems to almost cause it to bend inwards, but does not break the door. The footsteps suddenly come to a stop after the two booms are heard, and the individual outside seems to wait.
I will, with my new contract, summon Savnok's armor.
James will get in his armor and get to it.
And I believe, because I think I made my contract about midday yesterday, so I'm still bound to Dalvernar until like the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
So once I have Nux armor on, I think that busts my AC to like 27.
As the armor kind of encroaches around your body, you feel yourself your almost flesh seems to become one with the armor. As it seems to no heaviness, nothing seems to change, but yet you feel it almost without issue. The armor comes naturally to you now. But as James finishes putting on his armor, Savnok's armor being fully encompassed around Alar, the two of you opening your doors as you see the very tall, black armored figure standing in front of your two doors, just staring between the two of you. Their dark eyes kind of almost cut out and turned to a shadow in their helmet, if it wasn't for the light bit of white you can see around.
Oh. This is the guy who gave us the quest, right? For the Necromancers?
Looks to be.
I will offer him the armor with the branding on it.
Kind of looks at it, grasps it, and pulls it towards him as he opens his hand, staring at it for a moment. Looks down at you, James, and looks over at Alar as he crumples the armor up and shoves it into a very large bag of holding on his hip. On the other hip, he seems to reach into the bag of holding and pulls out a smaller bag and kind of sets it into Alar's hands. You can add 20,000 gold pieces to your inventory, Alar.
Okay.
As this heavy bag kind of slams into your hand, he looks over at James and just stares for a moment. And then turns back to Alar and goes and kind of takes the little leather note out of his satch or out of his bag and kind of hands it over to James.
Oh. Well, James.
Sorry about that. What was that? I had to step away for a second.
You have been handed, I think, another leather-bound note.
Mm-hmm.
This time by
too.
This is by my black market connection, so it's probably not cursed.
The large, heavy black armored figure.
Yeah.
I'm looking it over. Is it cursed too?
Go ahead and give me a wisdom check.
Wisdom 16.
16. As you take a look at, there doesn't seem to be any magic coming off of it.
I'll gingerly open it, prepared to bonk it with a hammer if a spell starts.
Yeah, as you break the red seal, the little horn, the moose horns and the smile carved into the seal itself as you crack it open. Looking inside, it reads as follows. I have a quest for you. I've made this request prior. However, due to our traveling decisions, I have decided to take you up on an offer. Please enjoy this quest from myself, the Lost Tusk, as a little smiley face drawn onto it. I have not been captured by this individual whose seal would be on this. That would be inconceivable, and would not recommend at all that if you find the next necromancer you find within the city that you kill. There is a single one, and I'm willing to offer double what I offered you with the last mission.
What was it you said we would roll for common sense? Because I felt like
that's wisdom.
I'm just gonna give me a second. Does the lore have common sense to understand? This is probably exactly what happened. Probably. That's a 19.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty comfortable thought. You've got a pretty good understanding of this individual. may or may not be writing this under duress.
Okay. I guess I have a guy to hunt down. All right.
As you look towards the bottom of it, James, it continues and says, I'm being brought, from my understanding, and from what I'm allowed to write, you see the pen, it looks like the pen has been kind of like smacked, or the feather, and has been smacked as there's a bunch of ink kind of splattered about and kind of smushed and rubbed in, as it continues a little bit after and goes, I have been told I'm not allowed to write this. However, if you can do what I think you can, dear James, and are the cleric that you told me you were, you'll be able to understand what's going on here. And then that's all that's left is the last of the writing.
So this came from Lost Tusk?
In just a single night, he's kidnapped.
I should have forced him to come with us to here because it would have been safer. I didn't. Fuck me.
So yeah, I was pouring out the pasta. So he said what he was allowed to write where he was going. What did he write about where he was going?
Can't.
It couldn't. Yeah, there was a smudge. It looked like the pen had been smacked, and so there's nothing there.
We just know supposedly that this necromancer is in the city because that's what he said earlier.
Yeah, and that he is obviously being taken somewhere outside of the city. Otherwise, he wouldn't mention that with common sense roll.
I know where Alar's going. I have someone to talk to. You said I knew where the his gang was, the mages.
We need someone who can locate. I can't do that.
They've got to have a divination caster somewhere in there, man. They're a whole gang of wizards.
All right.
It's a 4th level.
The guy, the frost giant, just kind of stands there looking at both of you as you kind of discuss this between the two of you, and then just kind of turns and starts walking down the stairs slowly.
I'll look at the coin. I guess we didn't get to choose our reward.
No.
Seems a little light for the work we had to put in.
Yeah. Dangerous work. Alar go to market, sell scoot, and check deal. Probably not take you. You probably don't want being known for being in there.
No, you go do that. I'll go handle some other shopping and see if I can't gather any other whispers of where this necromancer might be.
Also, I think I've decided. I think my Savnik armor, because it like makes my face look everything. I think this is just my black market disguise. I think that's just how this is gonna work.
No, that works.
So like I won't have my armor on, but when I start to get near the black market, I'll suddenly armor up like in an alley or something, and then I'll walk in.
Yeah. Okay. As the two of you begin to kind of head down now with plan in mind, James, James, you begin to hear in your head, is this thing on? Please tell me someone can hear me. James! You hear Lost Tusk's voice. Oh, thank the gods, or whatever things exist.
Thank magic. What seems to be what's keeping you connected?
You're correct. I'm calling you for help, you asshole!
Where? And how soon?
I'm regretting every decision of this. I don't know, it's dark. If I could tell you that, I wouldn't be calling. I've got a hood over my head. Also, act normal, because I'm pretty sure Alar might be in on it.
Oh. I was about to say you could tell Alar's on the way to find him, but I guess that's probably not a good idea.
James will focus. I'm going to try and focus and see if I can trace the magic back.
Alright, give me a spellcraft or wisdom.
Don't fail me now, wisdom. Fucking 7. God damn. I try to do something cool, the dice say fuck you.
You've learned you're not allowed to do cool things, or as I call them, stupid things usually, because the jump axe thing is still dumb in my opinion, but...
I'll try again in about a minute to see if I can follow it back with spellcraft, but pure wisdom isn't doing it.
He continues and goes, all I can tell you is I've been captured by this, fella, a red fiend, big horns, as a hate boner for someone. Something about not shaking his hand and being an insolent little pig. I don't know. I'd really hate to be that guy. The magic he uses is scary as all hell. He literally ambushed me in pure darkness. Also, I
I'll
can
need to shake.
feel the connection fading. Turn back. Stop walking forward. Whatever you're doing.
Stop moving.
Oh. Alara, as you're kind of coming to the bottom of the stairs, you watch James just kind of stop suddenly.
I mean, Cameron, we
I'm
have
gonna
a
try
direction.
again with spellcraft.
Didn't work.
Mm-hmm. What's up? Yeah, go ahead and give me a spellcraft, James.
21.
21. As you try to focus this back, you feel as the spell's connection is almost snapped. You no longer hear the individual in your head.
Do I get a
Okay.
last location?
You do not.
Kicks notice.
Which way am I facing? Which way was I walking?
As you're staring right now, you are looking. You are walking east. From west.
Head to the west. Alar, head to the west.
Oh,
He's at-
Alar not getting
he's
information.
in-
Okay, Alar run west. What's in the western direction? Like, what's over there?
West is the ocean. Or, sorry, no, it's just open land for the most part. There's a town far to the west, that supposedly has been established from the news you've heard. Like, in general, like, Talcamax town.
How far do I know telepathy can reach, generally?
It's a low-end spell. It'd be known to be about 100 foot plus about another 10 feet, depending on the individual's capabilities.
I don't think he's
With
that.
his capabilities, he's not that far. Alar,
I mean,
I'd say he's within 200
to the
feet of
west.
where I'm standing right now. Roughly.
I'll sprint
Go.
west, sure.
Alright, as Alar just kind of starts walking, or starts jogging out of the building, Ice kind of looks at him, sees him running, and goes, the last thing you hear is, must have been the troll ass. As Alar goes sprinting outside. Alar, you're just heading straight west?
West of where he is, yeah. He's apparently my kidnapped friend is nearby.
As you begin heading west, you head down towards the T-junction, towards the end of the street, looking about. Give me search checks. Or give me a search check.
I'll be following behind shortly with the cart.
Yep. Give me let's have James do a reflex, see how long it takes him.
Oh, yeah, my worst one.
18.
18, okay. Give James
21.
Alright. James is
Merchant
quicker.
contact in trouble.
James is quicker on the draw than usual, and getting used to the situation, being a little bit scammier now with the heavy armor, and after the goblin showing him a little bit of inspiration to do better. James starts chugging along to the back of the cart in the stable, grabbing the wagon and beginning to hook up the direwolf, heading out. The two individuals still completely peacefully asleep, laying there out cold as if nothing's yet to happen. As you start heading after him, Alar, with your search check, you look about, looking at every alleyway, looking through, passing by buildings, looking into the buildings. Nothing seems to catch your attention. As you continue heading further to the T-junction, seeing the buildings themselves, many of the shops closed. Much of the town streets seem to be kind of slightly almost empty at this hour, as it's pretty early in the morning, roughly about 6 a.m. A few merchants seem to be starting to set up, but as you look about, there are no buildings that seem to show anything of a sign of a place to hold out. No place you'd take someone that large, at least, that wouldn't be noticeable.
I mean, I guess I'll just keep running around. I know he's out here somewhere.
It says you can find an alley and continue running west through the back of the street and heading, just continuing past the T-junction, instead of heading north or south to the gates. You continue heading over, and as you dig through the alleyways, there still yet to be no slum buildings in the area that seem to be not too easy enough to look about as you go walking through areas, looking in every house that seems to have an open door, popping your head into broken windows. There's no sign of any place of a struggle or anything else that catches your attention. At least not in town.
I also know he can teleport like long distances, so I'm very worried.
Imagine eventually kind of coming back to the T-junction and jogging back, you see as James at this point is pretty much caught up to you pretty quickly. Kind of also having looked about, looking down, staring, looking for any obvious footprints and finding nothing as he came rushing.
Well, he believes in me, at least enough to contact me first. Do I dare?
I don't know. Do you?
I'm spending a divinity point. to grant him as much help as I can.
Alright, I'm gonna tell you what, James, we're gonna make this a percentile dice. If you can roll a 1 and 100, go ahead. Yeah, I don't care if you want to use World Anvil or Avre. You are more than welcome to see what, and we'll see what happens. James, I've got very bad news for you. As you begin to focus your mind, Alar kind of standing there, itching their chin, looking down both ways, kind of looking for any signs of tracks. James, you begin to focus your mind, closing your eyes and breathing deeply, trying to reach back out and send divinity to the individual who believed in you, seeking out for anyone who would. And as you feel for a moment the tug of the individual, you see them and envision them for a second. You see the large Loxodon, a thick black cloth wrapped around their face as they are look to be tied with rope around a very hefty bronze chair. And at what you see standing in front of them is a creature that seems to almost look over at you, a dark black shadow with just empty void. But as it looks at you, you feel as if you almost in an instant see thousands of ways you could die by this individual as it's killing you 1,000 times immediately in your head, flooding your imagery, your head with this imagery as the vision breaks and your divinity seems to almost find itself exhausted. You yourself losing one of your highest spell slots.
Permanently or just for the day?
Just for the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, luckily I would have had my morning prayer, so that I'm back down to what I was at, guys. It's fine. The emergency plan is still in
As
action.
James goes just even more slightly paler than usual, Lar, as you look up or look over at them, James for a second looks to almost seemingly as before they open their eyes, their body seems to be sucking in on itself and like almost as if they're starving to death in an instant. As James kind of opens his eyes, starts kind of sputtering and breathing, his body seems to fill back out, but the paleness seems to stick around.
I'm gonna
Bronze
bind.
chair.
Well, who are you binding on?
One I haven't used yet. Malthus the Turnfeather.
Ooh.
So James would see Alar suddenly get surrounded just for a second by a bunch of flying doves.
Mm-hmm.
And then I suddenly have a dove on my shoulder that I will send out flying. I can see through its eyes. This is my new scout to find people.
Okay. As you begin doing that, James, coming out of this and looking over, you see as Alar looks to now appear different, a dove flying about his head.
Okay. I'm still in control.
Did I get
We're
anything
good.
else of where he might be?
Nothing.
Any other significant things?
Well,
Anything
we
else
got
from
he's
your
not
vision?
moving. He's in a bronze chair somewhere.
He's not moving. Bronze chair.
Meaning,
If it was
theoretically,
telepathy, he has to be nearby.
he's within probably like 300 feet or so of the tavern. So, I'm just gonna have this dove start scouting random buildings.
Okay. Give me a search check.
Yeah, I have to figure out because I have to use the birds thing, so I have to find a bird equivalent. Oh, use the statistics of a raven. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd assume it's a raven.
Well, earlier in the thing it just says bird.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, it is a +7.
Yeah, Ravens are actually pretty good at searching. That's about their main thing.
That's one buff dove.
It's a black dove, man. It's special.
Don't worry about it. 25.
His name's Nightfall because when he falls, so does the night for you. As you kind of fly about, spending like it'll take about an hour of this bird kind of flying about throughout the entirety of the city. So it's going. I assume Alar's going to find themselves on the car or on the wagon, kind of as James.
I'm
thinks.
probably on the wagon with my eyes closed, kind of just watching through the bird's eyes.
Oh, James, as you watch Alar kind of closing their eyes and sitting up next to you as they focus, the dove flying away and kind of off into the town. With this vision now in mind, what are you doing?
I got nothing else useful, so it's more or less I'm just going to be keeping an eye out west, looking around, and moving the cart around.
Okay. As the dove continues floating about, and James kind of weaves in and out of alleys looking for any signs of a struggle or anything that catches his attention. The dove eventually, after about the hour of flying through the city, flies high up into the sky to get a look over it as Alar begins to show a little bit of signs of frustration. But Alar, as the dove comes up high enough, seeing beyond the walls, you see south of the city and directly south of where the tavern is in reflection, about 150 feet, guesstimation, is a small stone shack that looks to be just degraded and destroyed.
All right. I have my target.
All right.
Do you share this with me so I can start heading there?
I will, but I have a plan, so I'm going to run a little bit ahead because I have another ability I love on this vestige I've yet to get to use.
All right, with Alar running ahead, I'll make sure we're behind by a good, I'll say 50 feet.
Okay. It doesn't say I can't, so I'm going to assume I see with like Alar's right eye and I'm watching through the birds with the left.
Yeah, it's going to be a fortitude save to keep your balance, though.
That's fine. I'm very good at fortitude saves.
I'll say, because it's like a sense of perception to keep your body like able to focus on two things.
27.
27, okay. Yeah, as you manage to kind of focus your mind and start running, you head through the southern gate where the mercenaries were known to set up their city. I think it was yeah, I'll have to double check my notes here later. No, it's eastern. Sorry, heading to the eastern gate and kind of to curve around, you begin to head south, kind of following after towards the shack with James and the wagon kind of bouncing behind and rushing up to catch up. The terrain not as smooth as you kind of go off-roading and kind of fall along the wall's edge. What's the ability you're trying to do, Alar?
When I get nearby, I turn invisible.
Interesting. Okay.
This ability is literally just called invisibility as per the invisibility spell.
Uh-huh.
It lasts a number of rounds equal to your binder level, so it'll last 4 rounds. That's why I'm doing it only when I get close.
Okay. As you lot start to head up towards this abandoned shack, continue to keep your eye on it. The dove does see a little, what looks to be a bright white boned creature come walking out. The creature seems to like pull itself out of some small hatch that at first wasn't able to be seen due to the darkness and the shadows. But this creature, the heavy bones kind of come stomping out of the skinny door, as a huge undead dragon seems to almost pull itself out of the hatch and like kind of start to lay on top of the building, crushing it beneath it.
I don't like that.
As you lot begin to get closer and kind of look on at this, seeing the creature being about a mile back as you kind of come to a slowdown, Alar, James looking on, Rollman starting to kind of sputter awake, Melvin seemingly bothered by the road, and that's where we're going to put a pause for today's session, I think, to come back for next time. We thank you all for watching. It is hot as shit, and we hope to see you next time with air conditioning.